Now, I know that my parents, my wife, and my family struggle with this one too, but the way I describe it is that I'm a storyteller, I'm a creator, and I'm a podcast host.
I'm Rachel Cruz, host of The Rachel Cruz Show, and I'm an author, and I travel around the country speaking as well on the topic of personal finance.
I run a media company. So when people ask what industry I'm in the media industry. I think we're all actually in the media industry if you're smart enough to think of yourself that way.
So I try to explain to people that we create education and information to help people live a better life.
I simply say that I am an author and motivational speaker, and then I am a spiritual teacher, and I am here to really help people crack open to a spiritual connection of their own understanding.
Well, when I meet people and they ask me what I do, I just tell them I'm in the service industry. The service industry of helping people change their life and better their life and grow their life. Just like you would go somewhere, to Home Depot if you want to fix your house or make it better or improve your, whatever. You go places to get tools, and I'm a place where you can come get tools to help better your life.
So everything is figureoutable is this notion that can completely transform your life. So the book is about how one simple idea can help you change your life and the world. I mean, from fixing a broken tire to getting out of a bad relationship to getting into the most miraculous one you could ever dream of, to changing your career, to building your business. It is universal in its application.
At a high level, what I tell people is that we are building the next Disney. So we're trying to create a studio that creates intellectual property that is something that hits people internationally and it touches the lives of the masses. The goal of Impact Theory, everything that Lisa and I are doing with the company, with our fortune, it's all around the idea of creating that impact, creating the change that we want to see in people, which is very specifically to give them a growth mindset. And we want to live in a world where, all 7.4 billion people at least understand what a growth mindset is. If they choose to reject it, so be it. But we want it to be that pervasive.
What really led me to personal development was my own journey of personal development, right? I often talk about how when I was 18, I'd met a lot of people who were rich, I'd met a lot of people who were famous, met a lot of people that were beautiful, but I don't think I'd met someone who was happy. And then when I got introduced to monks and monk wisdom, I just got fascinated by the journey of growth, the journey of purification, of healing, and of cleansing. And when I started to do that myself, I started to realize how much it would benefit others. And it almost felt like when you see an amazing movie and you want to tell all your friends about it, or you've just been to the best restaurant in town and you now want everyone to go there. That's how I felt when I unearthed meditation, mindfulness, and growth topics. And I thought, I need to share this with everyone.
I really got into this industry because of my family's story. My parents filed bankruptcy the year I was born, and so my dad kind of made it his mission to figure out how money works. And so as Ramsey Solutions started to grow and Dave Ramsey, the brand, started to grow, I was able to travel with him and speak and interact with people as I was watching them completely change their lives when it comes to their money. And it was something that I was almost like addicted to because I loved it so much.
My struggle led me to personal development. Hard times, rock bottom led me to personal development. Like I've said many a times, I didn't know who Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, Les Brown was. My mentors were literally like Tupac, like Lil Wayne. Like, I'm a hip hop kid. I was raised on hip hop. That was my mentor. But it was my struggle, it was my rock bottom. It was me knowing that in order to get to a new place in my life, I had to do something different. In order to grow, I had to obtain knowledge that I didn't have. So I picked up a John Maxwell book. I started checking out Les Brown, and I got into this space of growth, and it literally changed my life. And as far as me being a speaker, speaking found me.
What motivates me is seeing other people win. That's why I do what I do. That's why I've had this business for over 2 decades. I love seeing people that have a dream or an idea or even some painful problem that they don't believe that they can solve, and then watching them go through that process of seeing how capable they are, seeing how creative they are, seeing how resilient they are, and coming out on the other side blowing their own damn mind.
So I knew I was on the right track when people were coming up and saying that, hey, they listened to what I said and they had made some dramatic change in their life and now they felt fulfilled. They were doing hard things and now they were getting results. That to me was like, okay, cool. I care about results. I want that. I want people doing hard things because hard things definitively, there is a natural inborn feedback loop in the human psyche for I did a hard thing in service of something that matters to me. It matters to me because it serves not only myself but other people. That is the loop of fulfillment.
I don't think of myself as personal development industry. I think that we are building something so much bigger than that. I think that more businesses need to ground themselves in caring about the personal development of their end consumer. So we are building so many things that will exist outside of this space. And in fact, this business was founded on a lot of things that exist outside the personal development community. My intention has always just been an obsession with my community. This online community who has been with me since I was a food blogger over a decade ago. These women from all over the world who I feel an incredible responsibility to love on and help and root for and create content that serves her well. And it just so happens I'm a huge personal development junkie. So that's what I share with her.
My whole thing is I want to help you take responsibility over your life. I want to help you know that there's a you inside of you, which is the greatest you that you haven't even met yet. And that's been my mission since 2009, just to impact a life. You know, even to this day, I don't even consider myself a professional motivational speaker because I was never trained. I never went to certain classes. Like, I just spoke my heart and I just came from the purest place I could ever come from, and it's worked for me.
I differentiate myself by being the most authentic me I can be. So I would never be compared to anyone else because I'm always standing in the truth of who I am. We're unique messengers. And especially for standing in our authenticity, that message will come out in a very unique way.
I share and lean into my story a lot. I lean into the athlete background that I have, and there's not many others who have kind of this athletic background who are so persistent in sharing those stories. So I bring in people who have that athletic mindset, and I talk about that because that's what resonates most with me. I also think the way we brand, the way we brand ourselves and differentiate through the type of people we have on. We really try to bring on people that no other podcast has on, or we try to bring them on first. We do the books that are, hard to do, that are scary. We take big risks. We do things that we feel like are going to make a big impact. Maybe they're not the smartest move financially, but they're the right move for humanity.
The way that Trent Shelton or Brendan Burchard or Gabby Bernstein or Marie, like the way any of us approach this is very different and unique to our personality. And we're really saying very similar things, but you find the teacher that speaks best to you. And not only do you find the teacher that speaks best to you, but I think you need and desire different teachers at different stages in your life.
How I separate myself from other authors and podcasters and speakers, honestly, is just being myself. I don't really focus a lot on what other people are doing. And so being true to myself and my convictions, my strengths, my weaknesses, and I have learned the more I can be who I am, not only does the audience receive that better, but I enjoy my life a whole lot better.
I try to be aggressively myself, so nobody's lived the life that I've lived or thought the things that I've thought. There's just a realness. I just take a no bullshit approach. But I'm not a born entrepreneur, so I had to learn all of this. So I'm not telling people, hey, you're either born with it or you're not. You really can earn your way through skill set to just about any kind of position you want. It is going to be brutally difficult, but you can do it.
And I guess I would say if you are coming up in this industry or you have a dream of being in this industry, the best possible advice that I could give you is don't try and do it how anyone else does it.
How I personally stay sharp in my industry and I turn to a lot of people for advice is really when it comes back to my team. I have an incredible team that helps me on all aspects of my job, and they're not afraid to tell me the truth. So when I need course correcting, whether it's content or it's the way I deliver something, they are there to really help me because our ultimate goal is, it's not about the Rachel Cruz brand. It really is about helping people, and the way we can be most effective of that is what I want to hear. And so when there are times that I need to change something, I want to hear it, and hopefully they would say I'm teachable enough that I will change.
So in terms of failure, like most people watching right now, I've failed so many times, so many points in my career where I've made mistakes, hit dead ends, you name it. But here was something really interesting I learned in my early 20s when I started my career. It was this phrase: I win or I learn, but I never lose. And when I really took that phrase on, I realized that every single time that I've fallen on my face, every single time that I've made an expensive or embarrassing mistake, when I look back, I have learned something invaluable. I have grown. I have gained a lesson that serves me in the future.
Blessed because I get to interview some of the smartest people in the world. So I turn to my own podcast and I sit across from wise people. And then some of those people I have a great relationship with and I continue the process with. And I'm still going to events and conferences that I feel like will help me improve my life or a certain area of my life that I need help with. So I'm always learning and improving from as many people as possible.
I have a big personal growth team that I turn to weekly for my tune-ups and my deepening of my own healing and my own path. And those relationships and those guides that are in my life help me stay accountable for what it is that I'm sharing and really walk my talk.
I mean this, the number one place I turn to is my community. It is the audience. I'm reading comments, I'm looking at Instagram stories, I'm looking at reviews on the podcast. All of these are great sources of wisdom for me to know how I can make the experience better. So that's one of my number one sources for learning. The second thing is I love learning from different industries. I love learning from what's happening in technology, what's happening in social media. So I'm observing and constantly learning and going to conferences and seminars and workshops to see what's happening in all these other spaces and how I can use those tools to make a better impact for my community.
Well, listen, I've been collaborating with people for many, many years, and it's been a privilege to collaborate with people. I think the biggest thing to do is make sure that you collaborate with people that you believe in and that inspire you. Because the only trouble you can get into is if you collaborate with somebody who's not totally aligned with your message.
I love to collaborate with other people in the personal finance space, especially ones that we have the same conviction of teaching people to get out of debt, live on a budget, and save. That common sense approach, there are other people out in the space that are doing that, and I don't see them as competitors. I really see us locking arms and helping people in America. Everyday people need this information. So the more people that talk about it, the better off we're going to be as a culture.
If we genuinely believe that we want the world to get access to personal growth and development to transform their lives, then why not all do it together? If we genuinely believe that someone else is doing that, we can create such a more powerful impact together. And I always think about this one thing. Someone who's watching, a young individual who's watching, anyone who's watching, can look and say, oh, they're friends? I didn't know that they were connected. That's amazing. It gives them a reason to celebrate and also recognize in their own life that they don't have to do it alone, that they don't have to do it all by themselves, that actually collaboration happens at every level. And I love seeing that we're not towers or islands, but we're coming together to transform and change the world. That means that we're really serious about it and that it's really going to work.
I think if you would have asked me this 10 years ago, I would have said I didn't want to collaborate with certain people because I had more of a scarce mindset in the space. Then as I matured and grew and learned, I realized that in order to really make an impact, I need to collaborate with the right people and more people. And that's one of the reasons I started the School of Greatness and made it about interviewing other great people as opposed to just a show about me and my thoughts only. I want to support people with a great message who could help and serve my audience. If I'm thinking about an abundance mindset, if I'm thinking about what's the most important thing, that's helping people live a better life, then I don't want to hold back from any information or any people's stories that can serve those individuals that are listening to my podcast, that are watching my videos, that are reading my content.
We're not in this for competition. We're in this to really for connection with each other and help build each other up. So yeah, I don't see no competition. I think we're all in this together, man. And I just know I'm one person. I can't change the world by myself. But if I can bring a force of people together, right? Like the transformers of the personal development space, you know, like it's like going to conferences. When you have conferences and it's like, you know, a great group of speakers, you know, Roz Business with Rachel Hollis and Dave Hollis, they did that. They brought like all the like top speakers in this one place, and the transformation was amazing. And that's what happens when you bring people together.
I think one of the reasons that we, the Hollis Company, and me and my husband, have done so well is because we are doing every single thing that we are telling our community to do. If we are telling you that you need to move your body for 30 minutes every day, you will literally see us on social media moving our body every day. If we're telling you you need to drink all the water and eat foods that bless your body and have a positive mindset and have a morning routine, you literally see us doing that. We're in it with you, as opposed to a lot of people, especially now that sort of being a thought leader or being in the personal development space is this like sexy thing, and so many people are doing it. There are a lot of people in this space who say one thing and do another. And I think you can get away with that for only so long. I think your audience really understands when you're being authentic and when you're not. So if we're walking through a hard season, you'll know it. If we are doing something new that's helping us, you'll know it. That's what gives us street cred. We are literally doing this with you.
Well, the main way I maintain and have established credibility with my audience has been through being extremely vulnerable, authentic, and real. I can say wholeheartedly, people, I walk my talk.
For me, I think a lot about credibility in building a brand, because brands stick around for much longer. Brands have credibility. Brands have a story, and they have a connection to their customer or their audience. Without being a brand, it's hard to build trust in a relationship with someone. So you've got to be willing to invest in your brand, invest in your design, invest into, long form quality content, doing things that are challenging or hard, like writing a book. I'm constantly investing in my own education and my own relationships. And all those things combined builds trust.
I live it. I live it, breathe it, be it. And I'm honest, I'm open, I'm a human being. I love to say I humanize myself. I'm willing to connect with my audience in the most genuine, authentic way. If I'm not living it, then basically I'm giving other people the excuse not to live it also. So my accountability is myself, for one. I have people around me to hold me accountable, and my community, rehabbers across the world. I always put things out and say, hey, this is what I'm about to do, hold me accountable to it. Like, I want y'all to check me if I'm slipping. And so I'm not afraid of someone telling me what to fix, because I know that only can better my life.
So I try and reflect on things every 2 weeks and every month. I think that gives me enough time to experiment, to learn, to make a few mistakes, to fail, and then to be able to evaluate how things are going. And I'll tell you, one of the best ways to measure accountability is my wife. She's incredible at telling me what I need to work on, what I've got wrong, what I can change. And I love having that because we really feel like it's a tag team. The other way is I spend a lot of time with my mentors, and I'll be honest and open when I'm with them and share with them what I've been struggling on, what I've been working hard on, what keeps going wrong, and asking them for their insight into how I can improve.
I think people know where my passion comes from. They understand from my story what I'm driven by, and they see me acting in accordance with that over time. So seeing me be consistent with what I say, with what I do over time, that is really, I think, an incredibly important way for gaining and maintaining credibility with my audience.
I ensure accountability when it comes to personal development, honestly, with my team, because I work at a company with over 900 people. We have incredible team members around us that keep us accountable and keep us on track and help us develop not only ourselves, but our content and really reaching an audience. And all of us together are on mission. Why we work is to help people. And when you have 900 people around you that are towards the same mission, and you start getting off, trust me, there's a lot of accountability there to scoot you back in.
We see people traveling to new countries, unearthing new cultures, being fascinated to learn from different backgrounds and different walks of life. And I think millennials have really made it their vision and commitment into life to really find themselves, to really focus on what matters. And that's why passion and purpose have become such key, strong buzzwords, but also genuine pursuits today. So I think it's happened because of technology being able to connect us all from different backgrounds and different walks of life. I think it's also the climate that we see outside of the world, that we're all looking for alternatives. We're looking to find new journeys and new pathways for each and every one of us.
I think that the world is waking up. I think people are feeling more uncomfortable in the chaos that they're feeling. It's like a pressure cooker that we're living in. I think people are seeking solutions rather than problems. People have felt, particularly millennials, I think they feel that they deserve to practice self-care and wellness. And I think that's an excellent thing. And because wellness has become such a trend, they have embraced it.
I really think that millennials are struggling with comparison, with judgment, with feeling like they're behind, with feeling like they're not getting what they want. And therefore they're seeking answers. They're seeking information, wisdom, and resources to help them improve their life quicker because they feel more insecure, depressed, uncertain, unclear with all that's happening in the world. With social media comparison and judgment happening, there's a lot of uncertainty for millennials, and they need the tools to help improve their life, and that's why they're investing.
I think there are certain practices when it comes to personal development that everyone can put into their lives, and that is setting boundaries. And a big part of that really is with social media, because when you're starting off your career, it's so easy to compare your life and what everyone else is doing out there on social media. And we all know social media is everyone's highlight reel. So whether it's a business opportunity someone got or a raise or a promotion, they're gonna put it out there and you're gonna see it and you're gonna start to compare your beginning with someone's middle or even their end. And so making sure that you are focused, you have the blinders on, and you are focused on what you are doing, not what everyone else is doing.
The mind and the body exist in connection with each other, just plain and simple. And we hear a lot about the impact of social media on mental health and mental well-being, and I think it is huge, and I think that it is largely detrimental. And if people aren't really curating their feeds and making sure that they're only inviting ideas into their world that uplift them and empower them and educate them and propel them forward, then it can be just a comparison game that will rob you of your joy. As they say, comparison is the thief of joy.
You're critiquing it, or when they fail, it makes you feel better about yourself because it's like, oh, they failed, so I feel better. Or when they're succeeding, you feel less about yourself. And you're always focused on them. Focus on yourself for a bit, right? I wish my audience paid more attention to like realizing that, man, I actually can make a change in my life. I actually can have this setback be my, propel my comeback. I actually can have this, what was supposed to break me to actually build me up. But that takes self-awareness, that takes self-accountability, and it takes someone being honest with themselves. So stop pointing the finger, stop looking out, and start pointing the thumb and looking within, because that's where change starts. It all starts with you.
The truth is, you really have to be clear on what you want and be brutally honest about how you are spending the most precious resource you have, which is the gift of your time.
There has been a lot of changes in the financial industry since I began almost a decade ago, and a lot of that is because of technology. I mean, whether it's money-saving apps or the way you do banking, things have changed, and social media plays a huge part in that. It is just crazy how quickly you can buy things, even via Instagram and Facebook. And I'm seeing how quickly people are getting deeper and deeper into debt. And so my hope is to give them a life where they're not comparing themselves to others and really on a fast track to not just get out of debt, but create a life that they love. So technology, it's a blessing, but it also can be a curse.
So you've got the Twitter generation. I think you're about to have the TikTok generation. You have the Facebook generation. So all of this stuff is so completely in flux. And I think the need to be nimble, the need to react quickly, the need to be platform agnostic is one of the most potent things that as a company we think about.
I think There are amazing benefits to changing technology and challenges. The benefits are there's always new tools to help you spread a message. You know, it used to be just Facebook, and now there's Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat and all these other places to spread your message and build a community. The challenge is you could be spending your time all these different places as well. You could build all of your energy into one platform, and then the platform doesn't work for you anymore. So you've got to put more energy into another platform.
I think technology is awesome because I think the more powerful technology gets, the more you're able to connect with people in a whole different way, in a faster way, in a more efficient way. So as technology grows, we just grow with it.
I can spread a message with much more ease than my predecessors. My teachers were on 70 city book tours in 75 days, right? So I don't have to do that. I can get on a live stream. I can go to 7 or 10 cities during my book launch and live stream half of them and use the internet to really spread the message. And you know, Seth Godin said, ideas that spread win. So now that we have this vehicle, which is the internet, we can spread those ideas much faster and much easier than we ever could before. And so I think that we're hooked up, frankly.
The line that I had when I was a food blogger, my tagline was give people the tools to change their life. Well, here I am all these years later, and I still have a company founded around the idea of giving people the tools to change their life. It's just that back then the tool I had was a casserole recipe, and the tool that I have today is books and podcasts and conferences and coaching and all sorts of different things. My tools and my toolkit changed, and then I was able to offer different tools to my community.
The thing that I've asked myself and that I would challenge every person in this space, like if they took away everything, like likes, followers, money, all these things, they took it away, would you still be doing this? And my answer is absolutely. You know, I did it when I wasn't getting paid to speak. I did it when nobody was watching my videos, and I continue to do it. So I think the biggest threat to this space is people just coming into space looking at it as like, oh, this is a way to make money, so I'm gonna portray something that I'm not. I'm going to fake it till I make it, right? I'm gonna talk about the things that I'm not living. I'm gonna sell people dreams that I ain't even bought myself. And the more people that come into this space like that, the more distrust will happen with the consumers. And I think that's the biggest threat, at least in my eyes, to this space is unauthentic, not real people coming into this space.
I think it's a threat when people try to see personal growth and spiritual development work as a way to monetize and to just make money. Then the student or the reader, whoever it is, feels that and feels that it's not right because it's not an industry based on truth. And so that's the biggest threat. I really do think about it that way.
Or if as an industry, people stopped worrying about authenticity, they stopped worrying about what's true, they stopped being driven by a real desire to actually help people in a measurable way, like to actually see that we're making progress on something meaningful, then sure, it could all turn into BS and then be totally useless. But I don't actually think that's going to happen. So I think there are tremendous vulnerabilities to any one person. I think there are tremendous vulnerabilities to any one platform, but I don't have great fears about the industry itself.
Well, the greatest opportunity for this industry is that it will awaken millions and millions and millions of people, and that the more people that wake up to a personal growth path will inspire more and more people to do the same. And we need that kind of resurrection right now. We need more and more people opening up to this type of path.
The greatest opportunity is to have the kind of reach that we have without a gatekeeper. So new and fresh voices are going to be able to reach tons of people. And if they're able to serve a message that actually helps, not only are you going to be able to reach a lot of people, but you can build a very substantial business off the back of that if you have the business savvy.
The greatest opportunity is for everybody to share their story. I think that's beautiful because now people realize what they've been through, the struggles that they've been through have purpose. And so I think the more we can get people doing that, the more we can help each other, the more we can come together, and the more we can make this world a better place.
The industry of personal development, I think, is constantly changing in terms of the how. but I think a lot of the what and why are going to stay the same. So I think the next generation will take it even farther. I think there's going to be things that are learned about the brain, learned about diet, nutrition, exercise, that become incredibly powerful tools. There will probably even be things, stuff like biofeedback, or who knows, obviously I'm prognosticating, but things that will allow the next generation to really tap into the biological reality of the situation.
I just think everything will evolve with technology. So the more the technology continues to evolve, whatever that is in the future, people will be innovating with the technology and creating information and value through different platforms. So they'll be sharing the same message, a similar message, but packaged and delivered in a different way to support people, to give them the tools, the wisdom, the inspiration to live a better life, to improve their health, their relationships, their finances, their careers, and their mission and purpose in the world.
Well, one of the most beautiful things is that it's really allowed so many authentic, genuine voices to rise, because the audience, the community gets to decide what's being heard. And I love that, because now we're seeing so many new faces, so many new backgrounds, people from different cultures sharing their unique stories and journeys. So what I'm excited about is people are now going to see people that look like them, sound like them, that have had the same pain as them, that want the same success as them. They're going to see that reflected in the industry, and I think that's really exciting for the audience.
I think more people are going to stop, spending so much money going into debt, going to college, and actually investing in, self-education. So I think that's going to be more the norm when it comes 10 years from now.
So the technology will be the thing that's different. I think there'll be a lot more people joining because the technology makes it easier. So more people will be sharing this type of information. And there'll be more voices, which will be great, because more voices help spread the message.
My ultimate goal for the consumer is to gain hope. Personal finance is a very hopeless topic, and a lot of people don't know where to start. They feel lost. If they're married, they fight with their spouse. They don't know how to teach their kids about money, and they're living paycheck to paycheck. And we see that through stats and studies, but also with the people that I interact with. And so my prayer, my hope is that they gain control of their money, which means that they have hope, which means that they can do something different with their life. When they are in a state thinking that this is how life is going to be with their money, my prayer is that I can intersect their lives and show them there's a different path, a different way, where you truly can have financial peace.
To rehab their life, to change their life, to better their life. I want the consumer to know that they're enough. I want the consumer to take responsibility and realize that it all starts with them when they look in the mirror.
In no uncertain terms, the ultimate goal for me is to pull people out of the matrix at scale by giving them an empowering mindset.
The good news is all of us have the power to completely annihilate our excuses. And when we do, we gain freedom, we gain so much energy, and then we can really create the life of our dreams.
To crack open to the potential of a spiritual connection of their own understanding that will guide them on the healing path to feel better, to live better, to step into their highest potential, and then help others do the same.
What I'm doing and what everybody else is doing in this space that's literally like using their struggle to help people, it's bigger than you ever would imagine. Like, you can't measure impact. You can't. And that's something that I remind myself very often. Like, I would never know how much of an impact I've actually made in this world, never. And so I always just say, just keep giving impact no matter what.
And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you for watching this video, and thanks again to Success Magazine.
Thank you, Success.
I'm so excited to be on the cover of Success Magazine. You've got to check out this issue.
Boom. There we go. Thank you, everybody.